Hello dear students, welcome to Chinmoy's biology channel. So today we are here with a new lesson, that is nervous system. So this is biology for class 7 standard as per ICSE curriculum. So I've divided this lesson into 3 parts so that it will be easier for you to learn and concentrate on each and every part properly. So let us get started with today's episode of nervous system. So what are the learning objectives of today's lesson? So by the end of today's lesson, we will be knowing what is a stimulus. So this is very important thing. We should know that what is a stimulus. Then we will move on to what is nervous system, types of nerves, that is 3 types of nerves, sensory, motor and mixed nerves, cranial nerves and spinal nerves. We will know what is neuron and what is the structure of neuron, as well as we will move on to synapses also. So if you want to know more regarding this lesson, please do subscribe to my channel and don't forget to share it with your friends also, those who are studying in 7th ICSE biology. So let us get started without further delay. Nervous system. So let us take some example, like when you are touching something hot, you pull your hands back, right? Now when you smell something bad or a bad odor, you try to cover your nose, and when you hear something loud, you try to cover your ears. So what are these things? The hot things, the bad smells and the loud sounds, these are all stimulus. So what is a stimulus? A stimulus is actually felt by the organism's senses. So sense organs are feeling the stimulus. So if when you are touching something hot, your skin, the sense organ is feeling that hot thing. When you are hearing something loud, your ears are hearing that. And when you are smelling something bad, that is your nose is smelling. So the organism's senses, which are the sensitive parts of his physiology, so the organ senses are feeling the stimulus, and when any part of an organism or a human sensory organ is stimulated, a reaction or a response will result. So what is the stimulus doing? The stimulus is bringing the response. So when you are receiving a stimulus, it is responding to that thing. So stimulus is responding. Is it clear? So response, what is a response? A response is a behavior that is manifested by a living organism, which is the result of an external or internal stimulus. So a response is a behavior that is always manifested by a living organism, which is the result of an external or internal behavior. So the stimulus may be either external, it may be internal stimulus also. So anything which is coming from within, so it's an internal stimulus. Like in our daily life, if we are dealing with many stimuli, by responding to them in order to protect ourselves from the danger or the survival. So for the survival, we generally try to protect ourselves from anything which is dangerous or anything which is required for our survival. We should respond to the stimuli, either it is external or it is internal. So many organs of our body work together in coordination to respond to the stimuli. Is it clear? So what are the organs which are working together and how they are working together? So this coordination is brought about by the nervous system, which helps to control these organs. So these organs are being controlled and coordinated by the nervous system. So now we will move on to nervous system to see that how this coordination of all these organs are brought together to bring in these responses. Now we have learned what is stimulus. Now we will be learning there are 2 types of stimuli, that is external stimuli and internal stimuli. So what the external stimuli is doing, these are the changes which are happening outside our body. Now for example, we can take the light, external stimuli, light, sound, temperature. So whatever is happening outside our body and we are responding to that are the external stimuli. Okay, and we are responding to danger also. So these are the external stimuli. And what is internal stimuli to which we are responding inside our body? For example, at times we are feeling thirsty, we are feeling hungry. So these are the internal stimuli. So we know that when we are feeling hungry, we should take food, and when we are thirsty, we should drink water. So these are the internal stimuli which the body is reacting to or responding to, and external stimuli, these are the external stimuli to which the body is responding. So let us now move on to what is nervous system. Now what is the nervous system? Now we have spoken about the coordination or the organ coordination. So this nervous system It is the organ system which brings about the coordination and integration of different body activities is called the nervous system. So this is bringing about the coordination and integration of different body activities, which this system is called the nervous system. So what is coordination? Coordination is the interaction of these activities. So all these activities which are being performed, that is, you are touching the object, you are feeling hot, and that activities are being conveyed to the brain. So this interaction or coordination of activities of living beings as per the needs of the body internally and externally is called coordination. So it's a coordinated process. So one thing should happen in coordination with another. When you are smelling something bad, your that smell sense should reach through the nerves to your brain to respond to that stimuli. So that is a coordination of all the activities. Now it is a very complex network of nerves that carry the messages that you are hearing something loud, that you are smelling something bad. So to and from the brain and the spinal cord to various parts of the body. So the messages are carried to the brain, and the response to respond, the messages are again carried to the responding organs, where the response, that is retracting of the hand or covering of your nose or covering your ears, this should happen. So that is a complex networks of nerves that carry the messages to and from the brain and the spinal cord to various parts of the body. Now most responses of the body to the outside world and functioning of the various systems are controlled by nervous system. So this is a very important thing, that most responses and functioning of various systems are controlled by nervous system. So you're walking, you're talking, you're seeing, you're hearing, everything is controlled by the nervous system. So the brain and the spinal cord are very important in your body. Now nervous system is an organized network of billions of specialized cells called nerve cells or neurons. So what are these neurons? The neurons are the main functioning cells of the nervous system. These are special cells, and we will be studying in details about the neuron and the structure of the neuron. So neurons are specialized cells for receiving messages from one part of the body and conducting them to other parts of the body. So neuron is a specialized cell which is receiving message from one part of the body and conducting message to the other parts of the body. Now let us move on to the next part. So nerves, we should know what are nerves. So what are nerve cells? Nerve cells or neurons are joined end to end by forming, the nerve cells or neurons are joined end to end to form a nerve. Okay, and this is suppose this is a nerve, and these are all nerve fibers. These are bundled nerve fibers. Okay, and they look like strands of telephone cable. So these are cord-like structure with a number of nerve fibers bundled together like the strands of a telephone cable. So this full is a nerve, and these all small parts are the nerve fibers. So these are cord-like structures with a number of nerve fibers which are bundled together like the telephone cable. Now we will be discussing about the nerves of different types of nerves. So let us move on to that. Now these are classification of nerves depending upon the direction in which they transmit the impulse. Okay, so that direction, like from where to where they are carrying the impulses, depending on that thing we have classified these nerves. So first one are the sensory nerves, second one are the motor nerves, and third ones are the mixed nerves. Now sensory nerves, what are these sensory nerves? These are the nerves that carry messages from the sense organs to either the spinal cord or the brain. So as the name suggests, sensory, that is they are carrying from the sense organs to either the brain or the spinal cord. They contain only sensory fibers, and let us take one example like the optic nerve. They send messages from the eye to the brain, is a sensory nerve. So we all know that eye is a sense organ. So the optic nerve is carrying message from the eye to the brain. So it's an example of a sensory nerve. So for your information, I am telling it that it is carrying from the eye to the brain. Now let us move on to the next one. Now motor nerves, what are these nerves doing? Motor nerves, these nerves carry messages in the form of responses from the brain and the spinal cord to the other parts of the body such as muscles and glands. So from the brain and the spinal cord, they are carrying messages to the muscles and the glands. Now they contain only motor fibers. So if we take an example of motor nerve, we can say that nerves arising from the brain leading to the muscles of the eyeball are motor nerves. Not only muscles of the eyeballs, nerves from the brain, they can move on to any parts of their body in any muscle to perform a specific action. Here we have taken the nerve which is arising from the brain to the eyeballs. This is an example of motor nerve. Now comes the mixed nerves. So what are these nerves doing? Now as the name suggests, mixed nerves, they are performing functions of both the sensory nerves as well as the motor nerves. So they are transmitting impulses from the central nervous system to the muscles of the body, and they are taking the signals from the sense organs to the brain also. So they contain both sensory and motor fibers. So they are taking electrical impulses from the brain to the spinal cord, from the brain to the all the muscles and the joints where the impulses need to be transmitted, and from the sense organs to the brain also. So the nerve that transmits messages to the tongue is a mixed nerve. So one example, if they tell you to give you one example of mixed nerve, so the nerve that transmits messages to the tongue is the mixed nerve. Is it clear? Now here there is another classification of nerves which is placed on where they arise. So this is out of your syllabus, but just you, for your extra knowledge, just you know that there are cranial nerves. So cranial nerves, these are nerves arising from the brain and reach organs in the head region. So there are 12 pairs of cranial nerves. Spinal nerves are the nerves which arise from the spinal cord and reach various parts of the body. So there are 31 pairs of spinal nerves. So 12 pairs of cranial nerves in the body and 31 pairs of spinal nerves in the body. So this is an extra information. You should know it, and you will be reading in details in the higher classes. Now, what is a neuron? This is very important. What is a neuron? Neuron, or a nerve cell, it is the basic functional and structural unit of nervous system. So this is the longest cell of the body. So what is the longest cell of the body? Neuron is the longest cell of the body. Now messages are received and transmitted to all parts of the body through these neurons only. So neurons are receiving the message and they are transmitting it to all parts of the body through neurons. Now human brain is estimated to have about 100 billion neurons. Okay. So human brain is having 100 billion neurons. As per our research, as per our data, we know that they are having 100 billion neurons. Now, in the structure of neuron, we have already told that it is a nerve cell, is a basic structural unit of nervous system. And each neuron, what is it consisting of? It is consisting of cell body, axon and dendrites. So here you can see that this main part of cell body is also called the cyton. So this one is the cell body. The cell body is also called the cyton. Okay, so this is also called the cyton. So this is the cell body which contains the nucleus. The cell body is containing the nucleus, and from this cell body only dendrons are arising from the cell body, and they further divide to form dendrites. So this is the dendron, and these are further dividing to form the dendrites. Okay, is it clear? They are further dividing to form dendrites. Now these are receiving signals from other neurons, and a single long fiber, here you can see down a long fiber. This is the axon which extends from the other side of the cyton, and the axon, what is it doing? It is carrying the message from the cell body. Whatever message is coming here, this axon is carrying the full message from the cell body of one neuron to another, and it is covered, it is always covered by a sheath. This sheath is called the myelin sheath. And messages along the neuron, they are traveling down from the cell body. It is like a wave of chemical disturbance. So it is carrying as a wave, and this chemical disturbance is called an impulse. So what is this chemical wave called? This is called an impulse. So an electrical impulse is carried down the we can say that it is carried down the axon from the cell body, and it is like an electrical signal. So what is this impulse like? It is like an electrical signal, right? And a neuron is receiving messages from one part of the body and conducts them to other parts of the body to initiate response. And generally these neurons are never in contact with each other. Okay, so they are communicating These method of communication, they are communicating via synapses, in which the axon terminal, so what are these axon endings, are called the axon terminals. Okay, so the axon terminal of one neuron lies very close to the dendrite of another neuron. So from here only the dendrite of another neuron will start, and then the cell body of another neuron will start, then again the axon will start. So this point, this junction is called a synapse. So a synapse is a junction where communication between the two neurons will happen. Okay, so this we will move on to the next slide. We will learn that also. So this is all about the structure of a neuron: cell body, nucleus, axon, myelin sheath. These are the nodes of Ranvier. In between two myelin sheaths, there is a node called the node of Ranvier. The nucleus is present in the cell body, and at the end, axon terminals are there, which are in close association with the dendrons or dendrites of other neuron, and like that only the electrical impulse is transmitted. So synapse, we have already told that what is synapse in the previous slide only. So what is synapse? A synapse is a junction. It is the gap between the two neurons is the synapse. So neurons, they do not come in direct contact with each other. So they communicate via one another via synapses. So this is the part where the axon terminals of the previous neurons are ending, and the dendrites of the other neuron, they are in close association with this axon terminals, and this point or the gap or the junction between the two neurons is called the synapse. Okay, so synapses are where the axon terminal of one neuron lies very close to the dendrites of another neuron, and synapse is a junction where communication between the two neurons occur. Okay, it is the junction where the communication between two neurons is occurring, and this transmission is called the synaptic transmission. So what is it called? It is called the synaptic transmission. Is it clear? So this is the synapse where the axon terminals of one neuron, they are in close association with the dendrites of other neuron, and it is transmitted. This transmission process, you will learn in higher classes how this transmission is carried out by some chemical substances. Now the signal is passed on, or the messages are passed on through a chemical. So that you will be studying in the higher classes, not it's out of syllabus in your 7th standard. So this is all for today's episode. Please subscribe to my channel, stay tuned to my channel so that you can get more updates. I'll be completing this lesson as well as all your other lessons as per ICSE 7th standard syllabus. Before your final exams, I'll be doing revisions with all the lessons also. So to get good marks in biology, stay tuned, stay updated, and subscribe to my channel, and don't forget to share it with your friends also. Thank you.